Now we are able to only secure volume recasting operations, but there is another rendering scheme called surface rendering, which finds 3D image from the slices of the 2D images. So these schemes can be applied for that also. And now our focus is on image. So we believe that these schemes can be, at least the learning from this scheme can be used to secure video processing. So this ends my second part. Any question? And my third part is research.
So one thing that you didn't quite address is the attack model, right? Now that you have, think of Shamir's scheme, your modification, what is the attack model? What kinds of attack could you prevent?
Well, we prevent both.
What would I have to do during that you would prevent?
Well, we assume that an adversary can attempt to access the data centers and know the confidential information available in the data centers. So we prevent confidentiality, and we also assume that an adversary can try to access the data centers and tamper with the image or the data that is stored in the data centers. So we want to prevent the integrity as well.
But really, the secret sharing will prevent the attack during the computation. Am I not right in that, or? Because if it's in storage, and I go and mess with something in storage somehow, you do great stuff with Shamir's secret sharing. Once I've corrupted the image or stolen the information, there's nothing you can do, right? The secret sharing will share perfectly corrupted secret. It's only during, am I right in that?
Yeah.
That it's during the computation or during the scenario you have. The physician is sitting, you've got to just send this image to the physician. Somehow you're doing the computation. What the secret sharing says is that during computation, you can actually compute in the crypto world and reconstruct the real information.
Yes.
Am I right on that? Is there any other protection that it offers?
Well, we are unable to protect any attack before secret sharing. If the attacker attacks the server, the hospital, and the hospital before secret sharing, if the attacker attacks the hospital, then our scheme breaks. Our scheme is unable to protect that. But once the hospital creates the shares and sends the shares to data centers, in the communication also we are able to provide security because we sense the share images. So even if the attacker can know the share images, still he cannot know the secret image. Then once it's stored in the data center, and before doing any processing, even if the attacker attacks one of the data center or k-1 of the data center, still the information is protected.
Well, let's talk about what about a denial attack? So what if my goal isn't to decode information, but it's just to deny your use of it? How would you, put on your black hat and tell me what ways you might go about trying to deny service?
Are you talking about availabilities? Well, we provide certain degree of availability, but not much. Like, for example, if attacker can kind of block the processing of n-k data centers, still we have k number of data centers that can process. But if the attacker can block maybe more than n-k, then our scheme breaks.
Okay. How about corruption?
What about?
How about corruption?
Yeah, corruption. If the attacker can corrupt n-k also, until n-k we are able.
Okay, but supposing you don't know supposing he's corrupted some, but you don't know which ones he's corrupted, can you figure that out? Can you recover?
Well, with certain probability, not
So how would you go about doing that?
See, the thing is, here we have n-k number of possibilities to know the image, right? Because of this n shares, from n share we need k shares to know the image. So we have n-k number of share images. So let's assume that one of the share image is corrupted. So the recovered image using that share will be different than each other. Now if I do not use that share, I use a different share in my K shares of images, then the recovered image will be maybe same to each other, right? But now the thing is, I don't know who, I mean, well, I can conceptually maybe know in certain probability, but I cannot definitely say that, okay, this is the secret image. I can only say that because the share image is different than each other, sorry, the recovered image is different than each other, so tampering has been done somewhere.
Okay, is there a way I could corrupt it so that multiple reconstructions with different shares would give correct images?
Sorry?
So what you're doing, your argument is that I can detect corruption by, I decode with different subsets, and I compare those, and if they're not the same, I detect it. Would it be possible for me to create an attack where I would corrupt images, but corrupt them in such a way that they would decode, the shares would decode the same each time, but it would still be wrong?
That's right.
How would I do that?
Yeah, I got your point. So if the attacker is intelligent and do some homomorphic, I mean, changes those images using some homomorphic operations.
What is such a homomorphic operation?
Operation means, see, the images are different because if the attacker, changes those, shares by using some random operations, then the recovered image will be different than each other. But let's say I do some I access k number of shares, and I do some homomorphic operations which is supported by secret sharing. Let's say I do addition, I do color multiplication, then the recovered image will be same. So then
I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I think.
That's right. You could just.
I think his proof is very rigorous there. I mean, I'm not so sure that you can do any homomorphic operation and destroy the secret share.
But I could just add another polynomial, right?
I haven't looked at the proof
because I could.
You can't necessarily reconstruct, right?
I don't have to reconstruct. I can just basically I can just apply the secret sharing to a different. I just come up with a new polynomial and just apply that, and since they add that to the with different coefficients, just add it to all those images, right?
I mean, my recollection is, I don't know, maybe you remember. I don't remember the proof, but I think that you can't just go and introduce any homomorphic operation and reconstruct the same pixel. This is the trick.
Maybe not, but I bet you could actually just add another polynomial of the same type, or just encrypt it again, if you will, with another. Oh wait, no, then you can decode it still. Yeah. I don't know.
no,
I think that part is fairly rigorous, if I remember. But I haven't looked at the proof in a long time. I can't tell. But I think it's confirming. I mean, if it was true, then the scheme would not be as strong as it is.
Yeah.
Did you, so for the first scheme that you presented, you basically just encrypted storage, encrypted distributed storage, something like this. You store the images on different servers and then you get them back. Did you do comparison with just, traditional crypto measures where you just, take the image, compress it, encrypt it, and then store it on a server?
No,
Or
the first method.
did I misunderstand this? So are you providing additional service to just, let's say, taking the image, encrypting it with some symmetric?
Yeah, I provide scaling and copying also.
Okay.
So that is actually storage is not my.
You can send a request to the server and say, okay, you stored this image for me, just give me back this sub image or something like this cropped image, and then the server can perform those cropping operations on the server and then just send you back basically the shares for this cropped image.
Actually, related to this, for scaling and cropping, so what are the main gains for the client? Is it to save the bandwidth or to reduce the computation of what?
The main issue is this scheme is it came because the size of the image is increasing. The topographical image can be size of several GBs. So a client may not want to download whole of the image, right?
So you're really looking at cropping a very, very small fraction, like
Yeah,
0.1% of a very huge image.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just reorganize the image to be like, to sector it into like smaller pieces? So
Yeah. So I know what you are trying to say, but then you have to send, the tiles, right?
right.
You do tiling.
Right.
So then the number of zoom level you can provide is limited to the number of tiling, the level in the tiling, right? Let's say if I want the first zoom level, then you provide me tiles of certain levels, right? So then if I want, in between the zoom level that you have in the two tiles, then you can provide, but it's not the right way to do that. You can say that you will send the tiles of different levels and do some processing, right? Well, in that way you will send more data. First thing. Second is the processing may not be accurate. Then processing on the finding the exact zoom level on the original data.
In terms of more data, because you need these caches to recover, so actually you also introduce some overhead. So I'd like to see some like comparison of these kind of more non-homomorphic schemes to get the value. Another related question is this like a real world concern already, or is something that you envision can be a potential attack?
Well, in practical, it's not a concern so far. But we have talked number of companies, including Fuji Xerox and some different companies, and they say that yeah, it's a concern because it may not be concern for the emails. They are in fact talking about this for videos. So if you can do for videos, then it's great. But yeah, they are not more concerned about the very perfect security. They say that okay, the computation has to be less. So I am not saying that this scheme will be applied as it is, but this scheme also provides one of the possibilities.
All right, let's thank Manoranjan for.
So I have some more slides.
Oh,
So well, this is actually short. Well, I am interested in for the position, security issues in smart grid, where my objective is detecting intrusion and how to respond that intrusion. And for that, I have no experience. I think I should be very honest on that. I have no experience in smart grid. Even I have no experience in security of cyber physical systems. And I have no experience in network security. I am more towards applied security and all. Then the question is, how will you hire me? Well, I perform interdisciplinary research where I use applied cryptography, I use image processing, I use cloud-based outsourcing, and I also work on image streaming, which is not part of my thesis. That's why I didn't show that. Which shows that, and I did everything from the scratch, which shows that I'm a good learner. I can learn the required skills, and I know that smart grid project is interdisciplinary research, so I can know the nut and bolts of different skills in a short time. And I am focused on practical secure systems. I am not from a theoretic guys. Where my goal is consider the overheads and also optimize the framework according to applications, where the schemes that I provided in the pre-classification vulnerability casting. And I believe that intrusion, this ability can be used in the smart grid project, because intrusion detection, for intrusion detection overhead to the framework is one issue to the smart grid, and the latency, even if someone has detected the intrusion, if that intrusion cannot be sent to the in a short period of time, then detection cannot be useful. So latency is another issue. And I exploited distributed property of security, where instead of using homomorphic scheme, I use a somewhat homomorphic scheme, and I use the distributed properties to secure other part which cannot be secured by the semi-secret selling somewhat homomorphic scheme. And I believe that this ability can be used for smart grid, because SCADA, SCADA use, and smart grid is SCADA is a distributed network. And finally, I am good at implementation. I believe so. Well, thank you very much. So, any other questions? This ends my presentation.
So why are you interested in this job? What's so compelling? You said you don't have this.
So, first thing is, okay, from my perspective, well, I'll tell you how I'm interested.
But why should you be interested or in following a new direction, perhaps?
New direction is one of my interests, I do not want to continue my PhD research, I want to learn some new things, but I can use my PhD learning to solve new problems. So, the new thing is actually one of the compelling things for me. So, because as a researcher, I think I have to learn and grow, and in this early stage of my research, I should be open to every field. And the second thing is you are more concerned about secure, practical secure systems that I have gone through your 2 papers. And I think I am also more interested in practical secure systems. And third thing is you perform interdisciplinary research. In that way I can learn many things. So did I answer?
Yeah, we can discuss it more. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks very much for a long and interesting talk.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want to take a quick break or anything? Or
I want to drink so much.
Okay, yeah.